governor in 2018 to change our story. I ran for governor in 2022 to keep telling our story. And I am running for governor in 2026 to protect our story.
Well, I'll use a word that even Governor Pritzker said. He said wrong-headed, and I think his decision to run for re-election a third term is a wrong-headed decision.
That's Governor JB Pritsker announcing his bid for a third term yesterday at a stop in Chicago, followed by Illinois GOP Chair Kathy Salvi. This is Illinois in Focus. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us. The 2026 election cycle, full force now. Of course, we've got the petitions that need to be filed for the primary. The primary is March of 2026, so we still got some months ahead of campaigning for the private party primaries, right? We're going to have a Republican primary. We're going to have a Democratic primary. Across the states, people are going to be vying for the party's nomination in these March primaries. And then in November of 2026, that's when the gubernatorial election will be. But listen, it's not just the governor. There's going to be a whole bunch of people running for different offices. But Governor JB Pritsker had been asked for weeks if he's going to run again. And yesterday, it was made official. He took to a podium up in Chicago and said that he took this state from a financial crisis to a financial success, he says.
When I took the stage in 2017, Illinois had gone 2 years without a budget. Our credit rating was in the tank, our citizens were in the dumps, and our checkbook was in arrears. And what I found was not irreversible injury, but rather unforgivable neglect. The good news is neglect can be fixed. We proved it. We took 2 years of no state budget and transformed it into 7 years of balanced one.
Now, of course, he says that they're balanced. Republicans would counter that and say it's based off of fund sweeps and gimmicks and tax increases. Earlier this week, we went through the list of tax increases under Governor JB Pritsker, including the doubling of the gas tax with an annual gas tax increase each year. July 1st, that's going to kick in again. You've got increased taxes on tobacco. You've got increased taxes on video gaming, the cannabis legalization, which is one thing that he says was an accomplishment of his administration.
We needed to right old wrongs, so we legalized and decriminalized marijuana. We needed to fight violent crime, so we hired more police and invested in violence prevention. We needed to rewrite our story. So we did.
So the governor talking about a variety of different policy initiatives that his 2 terms so far have brought about. Other things, he increased the minimum wage in Illinois over several years to $15 an hour. It's another thing. That was one of the first things he got done. He banned the sale and possession of semi-automatic firearms and magazines over certain capacities. That's a measure that's challenged in courts with a judge declaring that it was unconstitutional. Pending in the appeals court, could be a case that goes to the U.S. Supreme Court. He also oversaw and ultimately approved maps that the General Assembly put together, the Democratic-controlled General Assembly, with the loss of a congressional seat even. He put that together with Democrats in the House and the Senate, signed that map, despite having said that he wanted to have an independent map-making commission, because Illinois' maps are, according to civic organizations, gerrymandered. You've got even an F grade being given to Illinois' maps. But regardless, the governor has a long list of different accomplishments he says that he has, but there's a lot to do, including looking at future technology and how Illinois could capitalize on that.
Our quantum campus rises where U.S. Steel once fell. Rivian is expanding where Mitsubishi once closed. The Thompson Center is now home to Google. The seeds of success have taken root.
And he also goes through some philosophy on, the times of the politics in the United States and Illinois.
Yes, we have addressed so many of our old problems, but new ones always arise. History is an endless relay race. Our job is not to look for the finish line, but to protect the baton as we run our assigned leg.
And he also went on to discuss the themes of his 2 terms in office and what the theme of his 3rd run for governor is.
I ran for governor in 2018 to change our story. I ran for governor in 2022 to keep telling our story. And I am running for governor in 2026 to protect our story.
Now, the governor, obviously, with his terms in office being since 2019, he was elected in the middle of the first Trump administration. And then you get to the COVID pandemic that really kicked in. And the governor here in Illinois, he ordered executive action for like 2+ years during the COVID pandemic. It was countless how many executive orders he had signed to close businesses, to limit businesses to 20%, 50% capacity, different regions, all of this coming out of executive orders, not through the General Assembly. The General Assembly was really hands-off during that time. Democratic General Assembly with the Democratic governor. But the governor had these executive orders ongoing. He also went loggerheads with Trump during the first Trump term and has since been a stiff critic of President Donald Trump now in a second non-consecutive term. Pritzker talked about how, they have to protect against the clown car, he called, of Republicans in Congress, and said Trump's a megalomaniac, pushing against Trump, his personality, but he also was wanting to secure Illinois as a place for the rights of people to get abortions, something that Democrats in the state have done in the state of Illinois. Which, again, on the other side, Republicans criticize because it's gone to the point where Republicans say it's gone too far with removing parental notification of a minor girl getting an abortion. But Pritzker also talked about the cost of things and says things are too damn expensive.
We must reckon with the fact that everything is too damned expensive. From groceries to concert tickets to mortgages to cars to healthcare, we have created a world where one job isn't enough to raise kids, one salary not enough to own a home, and one lifetime of work not enough to earn retirement.
So the governor talking about the cost of things and trying to essentially project that onto the Trump administration, but you could look at Illinois in particular and the cost of things in this state. Second highest property taxes. When you combined all tax rates, we're among the highest. You've got businesses that are hit with high costs, from workers' comp to a variety of other costs and fees and licensing and so on for businesses, and especially property taxes. Those are high costs in this state, and this is state specific. But the governor touching on other things, including identity politics.
If you stood up for diversity, equity, and inclusion when it was easy, then you'd better be for it now when it's hard. If you protected the rights of the LGBTQ community and immigrants and black and brown people 2 years ago, well, then you'd better not abandon them today.
The governor went on to say, are you in for the fight? Are you ready to fight? And people cheering and clapping. And then it's official. He's now running for a 3rd term in office. Now, what's interesting is we don't know who the lieutenant governor is going to be. He was asked about it afterwards and said that, obviously, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, his current lieutenant governor for the past 2 terms, announced in April she's vying for the U.S. Senate seat being vacated by Senator Dick Durbin, who said he's not running for re-election. So that takes Juliana Stratton out from being the lieutenant governor for a potential 3rd term for governor. What's that mean for him? He says he's going to find the right person and make that announcement sometime soon. Who that's going to be, not sure. But the governor was also asked after his Chicago kickoff about his health.
We happened to notice today that you were out for a great walk early, and I understand that's not.
Were those your guys out there? Yeah, that's good.
Not a one-day deal. Is there a new incentive to get healthier as you also eye a White House race?
It was a beautiful day today, Marianne, and by the way, it was only about 75 degrees at 5 in the morning when I went walking, so that's why I chose it.
But what about that incentive to be healthier?
Always, and we want the whole state to be healthy. We're doing a lot of work on that front.
Again, the governor asked a myriad questions after his kickoff in Chicago. One dealt with the possibility he could be lining up a bid for president in 2028 by getting another term as governor of Illinois in 2026.
Can you pledge that you will serve out your 4-year term as governor if you win? And tell us about whether you're going to run for president.
Well, I'm running for governor today because I want to be governor of Illinois. I have worked hard to get our state moving forward, and we have yet more to do.
But will you serve a 4-year term?
Everything that I do, truly everything that I do in my job and every day when I wake up is about improving the lot of people who live in the state of Illinois, lifting up the working families of Illinois. Whatever I do going forward is going to be about that. Trudy.
So again, the governor being asked quite a bit about if he's going to run for president, and he hasn't really committed, hasn't said, I will serve my 4 terms. He said things like, hey, the spot for governor is a 4-year term. Asked there to vow that he won't run for president. He just wouldn't explicitly say that. So it's interesting to hear how that's being couched, I guess. Reaction all over the place. You've got reaction from state legislators. You've got reaction from organizations that are governor organizations for Republicans and for Democrats. And what you've got is a variety of different responses. Let's pull this up where you could see the Republican governor's administration saying that, let me make sure I can get this in full screen mode for you. Republican Governors Association says people are fleeing Illinois by the hundreds of thousands, and Illinois families continue to suffer consequences of JB Pritzker's abject record of failure at home while he spends his time in national vanity projects trying to further his own political career. The RGA's Rapid Response Director Colin Crampton says that opportunities for Illinois families are in the garbage. Criminal illegal aliens and immigrants are protected over law-abiding citizens, and Pritzker's tax hikes are destroying family budgets. Pritzker's reign in Illinois has left families trapped in an economic disaster, and taxpayers are the ones left to shoulder the burden. It's time to bring common sense to Illinois and end Pritzker's feast on Illinois' working families. Another statement, this one from the Democratic Governors Association, and Kansas Governor Laura Kelly putting this statement out, saying that Pritzker is an effective leader who's delivered strong results for Illinois throughout his time as governor. He turned a fiscal disaster into a balanced budget, overseeing remarkable credit upgrades. By the way, Illinois' credit rating is still among the worst in the country, even though it has received several credit outlook changes. It goes on to say that Governor Pritzker has been a staunch defender of reproductive freedom and our democracy. Illinoisans can trust him to keep standing up for their rights as he keeps the state moving forward. Another couple of statements here. House Minority Leader Tony McCombie, Republican from Savannah here in Illinois, she said the third-term Pritzker slump won't be any better than season 1 and 2. We know what to expect. Agency mismanagement, regressive taxation, and record spending. Illinois families need a governor for all people who understand true bipartisanship and growing our economy. Republican State Senator Jason Plummer putting this out. The people of Illinois deserve a full-time governor, someone who's committed to common sense, public policy that will fix our broken budget, reduce crime, and create opportunities for families, not someone who uses the office as a platform to grow his national profile as the state continues to shrink. And it goes on from there. Listen, there's all kinds of things that we're going to be hearing about the governor's record. We went through some of them, everything from increasing the minimum wage to expanding access to abortion. There's also going to be a lot of talk about criminal justice. The governor signed laws in place that helps police. They can't cooperate with federal immigration officials. And you've got the Safety Act and the end of cash bail and all the costs associated with non-citizens getting health care subsidies and housing and legal services and such. There's going to be a lot to talk about. Kathy Salvi, the chair of the Republican Party, I connected with her briefly. Here's what she had to say in reaction to Governor Pritzker getting back to the campaign trail
Well, I'll use a word that even Governor Pritzker said. He said wrong-headed, and I think his decision to run for re-election a third term is a wrong-headed decision. Because look at the last 8 years. We have among the highest overall taxes in the entire nation. Thank you, Governor Pritzker and Democrat House and Senate. We have a spending through the roof, which I can't see how it's doing the state any good except for oppressing its taxpayers, the fine men and women of all stripes and colors in all 102 counties of Illinois. So we've got overspending. We have a pension crisis there's been no relief for. In fact, any tough issue, the Democrat supermajority and this governor just kicked the can further down the road.
So we're going to see a lot of different names jump in for the GOP nomination for governor. Again, the primary is going to be in March of 2026. But when we talked with Stephanie Trussell, who is the former Republican lieutenant governor candidate under Darren Bailey in 2022, she's running for a state house seat, but she had some recommendations for the Republicans who may be looking to get the Republican nomination for governor.
Well, I happen to live in DuPage, and as you know, our sheriff, who has kept this county safe, who I just love for his passion and his dedication to making sure he can do whatever he can, because he doesn't want to see those guys back in his jail, guys or women, getting gang tattoos removed, teaching them, giving them an opportunity to earn their GED or work skills. And so I really like James Mendrick. I'm not sure exactly how full our site is going to be when it comes to the primary, but I know we've got some great candidates. And so I'm motivated by this. And what I would tell everyone after spending over a year of my life on the road, don't be afraid to hang out in those collar counties. You have to spend time in deep blue Chicago. And that's the comments that I would hear when I would go to events in Chicago. Those people would say to me at town hall, they would say, we only see the Republicans 2 or 3 months before an election. Go there. Those people have been showing up at these city hall meetings, begging to be red pilled, saying we're not going to vote for the Democrats anymore. And so it's time for us to engage with a group of people that we thought were solid blue, but they've shown us recently that they share our values. They want to join us in this effort to defeat JB Pritsker and everyone down in Springfield that are just, I love how they say, let's tax the rich, let's make them pay their fair share. But every time you look around, it's this regular, hardworking people like you and me that are getting nickel and dime to death. If it were up to them, we'd be paying $1.50 every time we got an Amazon or a food delivery. How is that making people like JB Pritsker pay their fair share?
Again, Stephanie Trussell, a conversation we had with her yesterday. You can watch that in its entirety in the segment posted yesterday here with the Center Square on YouTube. Yesterday afternoon, I talked with Kathy Salvi, the Illinois GOP chairman, and asked her about Trussell's advice.
Sage advice. What I would look to is, this is our government, this is our state, and we're responsible, each one of it. So if you look at what's happening in Chicago, it hasn't happened in my lifetime. You look at 50% of the men of African-American descent in the city of Chicago, they're sick and tired of the Democrat Party. They've already red-pilled. They're going to vote Republican. And you look at so many other of the ethnic groups who have traditionally, for generations, voted Democrat, and look at their leader over 40 years. Mike Madigan is now in jail, or pending jail for 7.5 years. The Democrat machine has run Cook County and our state, and we have to make sure it doesn't infect our nation, because the big government solutions are dead ends. They're dead ends for business, they're dead ends for families, they're dead ends for an individual mom or pop raising their family, and they're dead ends for our communities. So the good news is people are waking up, and they are willing to listen and to vote Republican more than ever in my lifetime. And I'm happy to be a part of this new Republican Party and be part of this Trump. And Stephanie was actually absolutely right. We need to talk to people about what issues are troubling them, and then offer them the real solutions that the Illinois Republican Party and the National Party offer. So you want change? Well, I suggest you consider voting Republican, and do get your family and friends and neighbors and colleagues at work to do the same.
We're here. It's the beginning of the 2026 campaign season. in full force. Well, not quite. We still got the petition time that we've got to get together. Those are going to be like the official filings, and there's going to be a date that happens, and then we'll really see who's running, and then we'll get to the March primary and all of the debates that are going to be happening. State House races, U.S. Congress races, U.S. Senate race, governor, and so on. There's going to be a lot on that 2026 ballot, but we'll obviously be talking about it between now and then. I'm Greg Bishop. Wake up each and every weekday morning for more Illinois in Focus Daily here with the Center Square on YouTube. Get the headlines by subscribing to the newsletter at thecentersquare.com and find this podcast where you get podcasts. Just look up Illinois in Focus.